What's going on, Jeromes? So the Minnesota Vikings defense has been one of the feel-good stories of the year, on top of just a team, right? So 2 years ago, the Down-and-Shell defense, Brian Flores came in and started unleashing hell, and the Vikings defense certainly getting after things, and everyone's having a good time, especially Brian Flores. But then, second half against the Packers happened. So Packers reel off 29 points, and Jordan Love throws for almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, and blah, 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 blah. But also, you see the inefficiency of his passing, 32 of 54, 83 quarterback rating, which is not good. It's no bueno. So I understand on the surface, a lot of fans are upset. Here we go. Defense reverting to... I don't know why angry Vikings fans are Cartman, but... Oh, here we go. The defense is reverting again, turning back into a pumpkin, sort of like at the end of last year when injuries caught up with his team. But no. So first off, this defense is still legit. This defense is still the best, one of the best, if not the best defenses in the National Football League. And guess what? They'll adjust. Hey, do you think that this man is going to put up with that mediocre performance in the second half? Nah. No, but no excuses. Going to have to get things done. But like I said, no excuses, but there are some explanations for what went down in the second half against the Packers. So number one, Packers in desperation mode. They were in catch-up mode, and also some good halftime adjustments were made. I mean, respect. I mean, LaFleur and Jordan Love, they understood, hey, got to get the ball out quick. Jordan Love didn't have a ton of velocity on his throws, and also was gimpy out there on that left leg, which is not fully healed. So they got the ball out quick, and the Vikings... I don't want to say that they went into prevent defense, but they're definitely playing more cover 2 than usual, and I understand it. So you don't want to give up the big play. You don't want to give up the quick strike to let the Packers have life. So you have 2 deep safeties. Maybe you blitz a little bit less, and you're able to give up things underneath, and you're fine with that because the clock is your friend in this situation, but just didn't quite work out, right? Well, would I have liked Flores to continue to keep the heat on? Yes, because it seemed like when he blitzed, good things happened. Because both of the turnovers in the second, actually all 3 of the turnovers, were off of blitzes. So it's pretty damn good. Also, I mean, straight up, the Vikings just effed up in that final drive. 5 plays, 96 yards. It's no good. And fatigue and communication issues were out there too. And yeah, Packers were tired too. But defensively, the Vikings... They didn't get a lot of help from the offense, sustaining drives, turnovers on offense, and they were out there quite a bit in that second half. Like I said, not excuses, but there's some factors, some mitigating factors for the performance in the second half. But long story longer, the Vikings, they're still fine. They're still doing all right. So they're still top 5 defense in points allowed, and they've allowed 1,397 yards, 23rd in the league. Now, they're dead last in passing yards allowed, but a big factor is the Packers game, and also the fact that the Texans, the Niners, and the Giants were all in some form of catch-up. So that certainly happens. Turnovers, they're second in the league with 10. The passing yards per attempt is only 10th in the league at 5.7. Shutting out the run is they're doing damn good with a plum with 3.8. Third down for what? So the Vikings are actually good on third down against the Packers, 4 for 12 as well as 0 for 2 on fourth down. Vikings still sitting at 31.5%, top 10 in the league. Red zone, so the Packers were 4 out of 5 in the red zone, bringing the Vikings season total to 50%, which they got to improve on. Blitzing, that definitely kicked up a little bit. So blitz numbers are off. So some places count. So we go off of Pro Football Reference that counts blitzes off of run and pass. Some places only count blitzes against pass. Now, for the defense, like you don't know if it's going to be run or pass, but you know if you're calling a blitz, right? So some places parse that out, some don't, and there are things as run blitzes too. So. Yeah. But overall blitz of Vikings bring a heat 28.4%, 4th in the league, which is down from them leading the league last year at 51.2%. But yeah, pressure wise, they're very efficient, 24.9%, getting heat on almost a quarter of their snaps. 5th in the league, 50 pressures first, 17 sacks first, even though they only got 1 against the Packers. That shows how big of a lead that they had through the first 3 games. PFF grade 69.5, nice. Of course, PFF hates the Vikings, 13th in the league. And then defensive EPA, minus 0.189. And also the Vikings are first in snorkel. Yeah. As well as defensive DVOA, minus 34.3%, first in the league as well. So by all the metrics, the Vikings are still good. And if you took the Packers game out, So sort of whatever, right? Vikings, and just looked at the numbers and just ignored that. I mean, obviously the numbers are still pretty damn good. And defensively, if you look at the drives against the Packers, so two of the touchdowns that they allowed came on short fields off of a turnover. So you had the Jalen Nailor muff punt at the end of the first half, which really gave the Packers some life, and then you had they had the touchdown in off of the fumble where they only had to march 20 yards. So for 14 points, they only had to march 23 total yards. And that will impact things. Now, they did only allow 2 long touchdown drives of 89 and 96 respectively. And also, hey, if the Vikings get that yard on 4th and 1, which kind of looked like they did. Kind of looked like Naylor got jobbed on that spot, even though he fell down. But either way, that would save 96 yards. And then all of a sudden, Jordan Love's gaudy stat line goes to sub 300 yards passing, as well as 3 touchdowns and 3 picks, as opposed to 4 touchdowns. And that quarterback rating drops down to about 68. So I do think that final drive, I understand. It's like fantasy football, like garbage time stats all count, but there's some definitely some fluffing up of the numbers in that last drive that ultimately came up short for the Packers. And for the Vikings, like, they still are a quarterback's nightmare. You know, things that happened to Dan Jones, Purdy, Stroud, and Jordan Love. I mean, even though he was hobbled, whatever, still only put up an 83 quarterback rating, which is not great, and 3 interceptions, and he was harassed and under duress all day. So all that factors in, and this defense is still really damn good, and also they're humbled now, right? So they understand, like, hey, they came in with a reputation, first 3 games, getting after that ass. They only sacked Jordan Love once. Yes, they did get 3 interceptions and 4 total turnovers. That's fantastic, but they want more. They want more. And guess who's next on the docket? It's gonna be biblical. Jets' offensive line is Carpaccio. Rodgers already feuding with Rob Salah, and just bring it. Let's bring it, man. But I understand, like, it's a little bit frustrating, but hey, this Flores defense is still elite, and yeah, they'll bring it the rest of the season. They'll certainly bounce back. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings defense still pretty damn good, even after that second half debacle against the Packers. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.